faith in politicians is at an all-time low, and people are really quite depressed over the whole situation, and that's at a local and a national level.
We're joined by representatives from 4 of the parties. We have Anna Fry and Zach Barker from the Liberal Democrats who are here. We have Cam Hayward, Toby Wells from Bristol Green Party here. We have Christopher Orlick from the Labour Party and Gary Hopkins from the Knowle Community Party. What measures will you take to deal with knife crime and make Knowle a safe place, especially for young people?
Brilliant. Really support Carly, who's been leading that campaign. I think it's fantastic. But it is a sticking plaster for an issue that shouldn't exist in the first place. So for me, our priority is really pushing to understand the root cause of these systemic issues. And this isn't about blame. So the police obviously should follow up on the crime and prosecute those responsible. And that's the blame part done. But after that, it's why did those people who committed this crime, why were they in that position in the first place? And what can be done?
Sometimes you don't need a huge amount of money. You need commitment. And local people with the right commitment to youth work can make a difference.
We're talking sensibly here as well by investing in youth services and actually spending money there. We solve problems further down the line that are a lot more costly in terms of criminal justice, health, and all of the other sort of larger issues. If we can nip those in the bud with good, strong youth services, and yes, that involves utilising a community and services and voluntary services and galvanising people to become involved in supporting younger people, that's really important.
Politics is about choice, isn't it? Do you spend money on youth work or filling up potholes in the road? So we all want to do the right things, but it's a question of how you do it.
If the Broadwalk development an associated residents' parking zone goes ahead, what will you do as councillors to ensure that Knowle has high-quality transport links and associated support services such as dentists?
What will I do if the Broadwalk development goes ahead as it is? Well, I'll hope for the best, to be honest with you, because I've been campaigning quite a lot for a change in some sort of representation from the community in terms of the development of those plans, which I believe has been solely lacking. And that way we would try to gear our policy towards a community-orientated approach to try and get a bit more community into what is being developed there.
It's very easy to criticise the developers, and they haven't got their publicity right at all. That's absolutely the case. But we are in a position now where we have a non-functioning shopping centre. What I would say is that we have 2 choices. We can either negotiate or we can block it in the courts.
There does need to be community involvement in developing what and deciding what should be there. And it's what we as Greens think is there needs to be gentle density, and what that means is sort of 5 to 6 stories. And you see that in a lot of European cities. It's you can fit in quite a lot of housing there, and you can actually fit in more than you'd expect.
I don't like the development. It's far too big, obviously, but I do like the shops, and I don't know what's going to happen because I use Iceland. I don't have a car. I don't use the car very much, and so it's. I don't swear it's going to be a very difficult thing to deal with, and I've got no bright ideas. I'm sorry.
First of all, I don't think it's likely that nothing will happen there. I don't think it's a case of this or nothing else. And I think that's something that's been sold, unfortunately, to people, and that's been constantly repeated, and it's just not true.
You almost made my point for me, which is that I don't trust the developers as far as I could throw them. As you say, developers will get away with the maximum that you let them get away with because they are profit-making entities. That's what they do.
What do you think defines a good councillor?
It's also about embedding yourself in a community, which we have done over the past year and a half, working with local community groups and volunteering for groups like Jubilee Pool and Friends of Redcatch Park, and that we have been on the front lines helping people there and in the meetings there as well, offering suggestions where we've been present, and that's what councils need to do.
And basically, it is making the community a better place by doing stuff, and that's it. And if you enjoy it, and I enjoy it, I want to go on helping people and sorting out problems.
Well, I think the acid test is, do they get re-elected? and that is absolutely vital, because basically you stand there, it's easy to make promises, it's easy to make false promises, but people judge you on what actually you've done over the years.
So Gary mentioned telling people things, but isn't it more about listening to people? So I've knocked on a lot of your doors. I recognise a lot of your faces. You've had the pleasure of meeting me, but you'll probably notice that I don't actually tell you anything apart from who I am. And then I ask for your views and your thoughts about what's important for your community.
I think, again, the ability to listen is probably the most key thing for me. That's something that I've developed over the years in healthcare. Listening to people is really key, and doing things with them and not to them.
I think Gary said you can't please everyone, and that is true, but I think something that's been missing is when you disagree with people, you still treat them with respect.
Voting is on May the 2nd. Don't forget your photo ID. Okay, let's say it again. Don't forget your photo ID. If you don't know what photo ID you need, have a Google, and there's a good long list of what you can take and what's applicable.